Today, we're going to talk about when to stop trying to get your ex back. But first, my name is Clay with Modern Loved Out Life, where we help you get the great, loving relationship that you're looking for without having to play mind games, without having to play hard to get, and without having to pretend to be someone or something that you are not. And the reason for this is because you deserve to be loved for the unique, amazing, and wonderful person that you are. And if you agree with me, please do me a favor by giving this video a thumbs up. It does help us out with the YouTube algorithm, so please thumbs up. And also feel free to subscribe to this channel as well too, so that you can get notified when we post and upload new videos. I did want to let you know that we do have our email newsletter as well too. You can find that down in the description box below this video. It's totally free to sign up. You get updates and notifications for strategies, tips, advice for getting back together with your ex. And we're also going to be making some cool announcements next week too about a new course that we're going to be officially launching. More info on that as we get closer to next week. But I did want to talk about today, when is it time to give up trying to get your ex back? And this is something that often a lot of people think about. They look for signs. Is my situation hopeless? Is it getting better? Is it getting worse? What does it mean if he's following these people on Instagram? What does it mean if she takes 4 hours to text me back when usually it would only take her 30 minutes or something? And there's a lot of looking at signs, looking at little micro indicators, okay? And this is kind of on my mind a lot lately these days because, obviously we did have our presidential election on Tuesday, and the final results of that, at least right now on Friday morning, are undetermined. And it's easy to get caught up in watching every little micro analysis of what's happening in the news. Like, oh, they found some more votes in this particular state, and that changes that so that Biden has this lead and Trump has that lead and whatever. And it's easy to get caught up in all the drama of oh, was there some sort of election fraud, or was it a clean election? And he said this and the other guy said that, and all this stuff. But ultimately, it's kind of outside of at least my sphere of influence. I don't know if you work in politics or in, the election process or anything, but if you do, it might be within your sphere of influence. But it's not within mine, and probably not within most people's sphere of influence who watch my videos. And so it's not really something that I necessarily need to get caught up in too much. At some point in the next, however long, we will know who's going to be the president next year. But it's really not going to help me to get too caught up in the, day-to-day, hour by hour, minute by minute, second by second drama of, what's happening, what state has what lead, which battleground swing state is going to go to Trump or Biden or whatever. And so it's just sort of worth letting go of. And I think in a lot of senses, this is a lesson that we can apply to breakups and getting back together with your ex. We don't necessarily need to get caught up in all of the minute details of what does it mean if, he's following attractive women on Instagram, or what does it mean if she said this, or what does it mean when they made this sort of obscure statement, or what does it mean when they, talked about being in a hypothetical relationship instead of in a specific relationship with me, or any of these other things. Because what we want to do is we want to look at the big picture. What is it that we can control? Ultimately, we can't control if someone's going to take, a long time to text us back. We can't control if someone's going to do something online, if they're going to follow someone online or like a post online or not. We can influence that to a certain degree with how we're interacting with someone. And obviously, if we're interacting with someone and causing them to pull away emotionally, then that is going to have an effect on their behavior. And likewise, if we can interact with someone in a way that's going to warm them up and make them feel good interacting with us, that is going to affect their behavior. And so that's really what we should be focusing on, is what is the effect that we're having on someone? What is the quality of the emotional connection? And if you're focusing on that, then you know that you're focusing on the right things, and you can kind of let go of trying to anticipate, trying to microanalyze, trying to read too much into whatever's happening or not happening, into the little minutia of what they're saying and doing and not saying and not doing and all of that. And That, I think, is the most valuable thing that you can take from all of this. So this, going full circle here, how does this relate to the whole idea of when to give up trying to get your ex back? Now, I don't want you to be caught up in the micro analysis of all these little things. I mean, that's one very common thing that I've noticed when I have coaching calls with people, is that people want to talk about these like little micro things. Well, is my situation hopeless because they made this cryptic comment? Is my situation hopeless because of this other thing that happened? Is my situation hopeless because of that? And the truth is, if you're connecting well, you're doing everything that you can, and then it's time to just, release it. Just let the connection do what it's going to do. Let whatever's going to unfold between the two of you lead to whatever it's going to lead to. And then just release what you have done. Be okay with it, knowing that you've done what you can do, knowing that you've done everything that you can do within your sphere of influence, and let whatever happened, whatever you did, whatever you didn't do, all of that stuff, let it sink in, and let, your ex decide what they're going to do moving forward. Are they going to get closer to you? Are they going to connect with you more? Are they going to start a relationship with you? Are the two of you going to get back together? Or are they going to choose something else, like not getting back together, being in a rebound relationship, or whatever the case may be? At the end of the day, you have to focus on your sphere of influence, which is how you're bringing yourself to the interactions so that you can maximize any sort of connection that might be possible between the two of you. But then after that, you have to let it go. You have to release it so that you can live a reasonable, sane life, just like how I'm trying to live a reasonable, sane life. And I think a lot of you guys are probably also trying to lead a reasonable, sane life, at least if you're in the United States, without getting too caught up in this whole drama of voting and counting and all this stuff that's happening right now. Oh my goodness. As if 2020 couldn't have been more crazy, right? But yeah, so just focus on what you can do. Focus on what you have control over. Let it go. And if you're at a point where you're letting it go and you've done everything that you can do and things just aren't lining up, then that's when it's time to release this idea of getting back together with your ex. Does that mean that it's not going to happen? Not necessarily. It just might not happen on your time frame. It might not happen in the window of time that you want it to happen in, like this week or this month or something. It might take a little bit longer. Maybe some of the actions that you made, but some of the connections that you made need some time to sink in, and your ex needs some time to process their emotions, or they need some time to really think about what it is that they want, or they need some time to feel the consequences of their choices, or to feel your loss, or whatever the case may be. But you have to give it time to work. And just because they don't want to get back together with you right now doesn't mean that it's never going to happen. It just means that it's not going to happen right now. It doesn't mean it's not going to happen, next year or in a couple weeks or a couple months or, whatever. I've told this story before many times, but it bears repeating. And that's that, when my big ex and I broke up for the final time, there was a good stretch of time when we didn't talk to each other. And after that, I was going through this period of time where I was trying to get right with people that I wasn't totally 100% right with. So I sent her a message, and we started talking again, and we were able to have a much more civil discussion than we were able to, a year or two beforehand. And so things definitely can change with time. Another example of this, I think it's also worth telling, is that I used to live in Portland, Oregon, and there's a neighborhood in Portland, Oregon called St. John's. And there's a really famous, iconic bridge. It's this sort of teal bridge called the St. John's Bridge, creatively enough. But there's this cool park underneath it called Cathedral Park. And one day I was walking through Cathedral Park, and it seemed as if earlier that day some couple had been there for like wedding photos or something like that, because there were two supports for the bridge, one on each side. And underneath one of the supports, there was a little sort of chalk thing that sort of summarized part of the couple's love story, and it kind of continued on to the second support. But it was kind of this big, messy, sloppy story. It was like, 2008, we met each other. 2009, we broke up. 2010, we got back together again. 2011, we took our first trip here. 2012, we broke up again. 2013, We got back together again, 2014. We got engaged, and now we're married today. And it just shows you that, yeah, we can look at an individual moment in a relationship and try to say, this is it, this is all or nothing. But it's not necessarily that way. Most of the success stories that I've worked with, they've had this really up and down dramatic roller coaster of emotions the entire time. And probably your situation is going to be a little bit similar to that. So if you can be okay with that, if you can be okay with focusing on what you can control within your sphere of influence, releasing it and letting it sink in, and then just, if you need to, let go, focus on yourself, focus on what you need to, and if something comes back to you, whether that's your ex reaching out to you, whether that's fate somehow putting you in each other's lives again, whether that's some chance encounter or something like that, let that come to you, and then that potentially could become a new beginning for you. So anyway, I hope this helps you out. Once again, we do have our email newsletter down there in the description box. It's totally free to sign up for it. We send you tips, advice, strategies, all that stuff. And we're going to be making some cool announcements next week regarding a new course that we're going to be releasing. So I'll keep you up to date on that here on the YouTube channel. But if you want to get first crack at that, be on the email newsletter. But anyway, thank you so much. Once again, please hit that thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm. And if you want to learn more about getting back together with your ex and your ex's emotional journey, please check out this video series over here on your ex's 5 stages of getting back together, or feel free to check out this video series over here. Please take care, and I'll talk to you next week.